In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do EFT over the phone with friends, family, whoever you want to help. Okay? So I've got my phone in my hand. Okay? So if you can imagine that you're on the other end of the phone, and all I want you to do here is I'm going to be speaking as if I'm using the phone and tapping on the points, because this is what you will be doing for your friend, telling them what to do, what points to tap on. And so I'm going to show you how to do this. And so what I want you to do is I want you to think of anything you want to work on here. Anything at all. Just whatever comes to mind, just think of anything you want to work on here to release some of the emotion from that. Measure on a scale of 0 to 10 what number pops to mind of disturbance connected to that issue you want to work on. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Small thing will do. Anything just pops to mind. Whatever pops to mind is the right thing. It could be something in the present, in the past. Doesn't matter. Something you expect in the future you have to do. Just whatever pops to mind, whatever issue pops to mind, just go with that. Measure, scale of 0 to 10 of disturbance. What number have you got? Okay. So just imagine that you're speaking to your friend on the phone. Now, I'm not going to ask you to say any words out loud. I'm going to do all the speaking, just like you will be doing. Okay? So you have your number, and so you begin tapping on the karate chop point and you're talking to your friend on the phone. Even though you have that number of disturbance, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Even though you have that number of disturbance, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Even though you have that number of disturbance, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Now, I hope you're tapping on the karate chop point along with me. If not, we'll just do that one more time. I want you to tap on the karate chop point. You don't need to have your hand up here. However, when you are on the phone and they're on the phone, you will be telling them to do exactly as you're doing. So you'll be just tapping on the karate chop point. You're tapping on the karate chop point. Even though you have that number of disturbance about that issue, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Even though you have that number of disturbance about that issue, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Even though you have that number of disturbance about that issue, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Okay. Now I want you to begin tapping on the eyebrow point. You will be telling whoever you're working with to do the exact same thing. Tapping on the eyebrow point. That number of disturbance. You don't have to say anything. I'm saying it for you. They don't have to say anything. You'll be saying it for them. That number of disturbance. 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 Take a deep breath in. And release that now. Excellent. Measure on a scale of 0 to 10 what number pops to mind remaining on that disturbance, on that issue. And with that remaining number, we'll begin together. I want you to begin tapping on the karate chop point. And I'm going to say the words, you don't need to. Even though you have that remaining number of disturbance connected to that issue, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Even though you have that remaining number of disturbance on that issue, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Even though you have that remaining number of disturbance connected to that issue, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Now, begin tapping on the eyebrow point. That remaining number of disturbance. Side of the eye. That remaining number of disturbance. Under the eye. That remaining number of disturbance. Under the nose. That remaining number of disturbance. Chin point. That remaining number of disturbance. Collarbone point. That remaining number of disturbance. Under the arm, that remaining number of disturbance. And top of the head, that remaining number of disturbance. Now, just like in the distance healing, they don't even have to tap on the points. All you have to do is be speaking to them on the phone, and you can do it in a different way. All you have to do is imagine that you are tapping on the points for them. So I just want to give you an idea of what that would feel like. Okay? So what I want you to do for a moment is measure on a scale of 0 to 10 of what you've been working on. Okay? And I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Just close your eyes, and I'm just going to continue on. And what I'm going to do is, you can look and see I have the phone. This is what you would be doing. But close your eyes just for a moment now. And I'm tapping on the karate chop point for you. Even though you still have some of that number of disturbance remaining, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Even though you still have some of that disturbance on that issue remaining, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Even though you still have a number connected to that disturbance remaining, you deeply and completely accept yourself. Now I'm imagining I'm tapping on your eyebrow point, that remaining number of disturbance. And I'm imagining I'm tapping on the side of your eye, that remaining number of disturbance. And I'm imagining I'm tapping under your eye, that remaining number of disturbance. And I'm imagining I'm tapping under your nose, that remaining number of disturbance. And I'm imagining I'm tapping on your chin point, that remaining number of disturbance. And I'm imagining I'm tapping on your collarbone point, that remaining number of disturbance. And I'm imagining I'm tapping under your arm, that remaining number of disturbance. And I'm imagining I'm tapping on the top of your head, still have that number of disturbance. Now just take a deep breath and release all that now. And I hope you got something from that experience. If nothing else, I've taught you something that you can help your friends and family with, whatever they're working on. It could be a confidence issue. It could be just that they feel bad down in the dumps. Doesn't matter. Even sometimes it can help with pain. It can reduce it, eliminate it, because sometimes pain is connected to emotional issues. So just try it on everything, and you will really be surprised at the results you get working with friends and family.